So it's Sunday. Excuse me. That pretty much wraps up my whole day, and it's time for my mental health vlog. Um, Not a whole lot really going on this week. Not a whole lot of development or growth or changes or challenges. Just kind of a regular week, and it's nice to just kind of have regular weeks from time to time. I think the only thing that's really been on my mind is the shooting in Georgia with the massage clinics. And most people have associated the shootings with racial motivations, and the shooter indicated that one of the reasons for his actions was because of sexual addiction. And at first, anything that I'm going to say is not defending this asshole. Okay. I am not going to justify his actions. I am not going to defend his actions. I'm just going to make some blanket statements regarding sexual addiction. As someone who does suffer from sexual addiction, I can tell you that it is a very real thing. It's the same as people who are addicted to gambling or drugs or alcohol, or shopping. It is an addiction, and it irritates me to hear people say that it's not a real thing, because it is very much a real thing. And sex addiction can make you do things that you or a prudent person would not normally do. You can make guidelines and rules for yourself and break them in a heartbeat. I'm not going to invite someone over to my house, and I do it. I'm not going to leave work to go have sex, and I do it. I'm not going to have sex with strangers, and you do it. You're not going to have unprotected sex, and you do it. You break all these rules you have for yourself with sex addiction. And, people who have this addiction go untreated, their life can spiral out of control. Hand to God, mine spiraled out of control. And you can do things you normally wouldn't do, or you can't say the word normally, but you can do things that you thought you'd never do. This particular shooter indicated that the massage parlors were triggering for him for his sex addiction, and that was why he did what he did. There are multiple ways that you learn to manage your triggers when dealing with sex addiction. And I am very grateful for my fellowship through Sex Addicts Anonymous, SAA, which you can find information on our local chapter at saa-recovery.org. You learn to manage your life with triggers, because there's always going to be triggers. There's going to be an attractive man. There's going to be a scenario that's happening, or a location where you used to act out that you pass by, or someone you run into who you used to act out with. Those triggers will always be there. Part of managing your addiction is managing those triggers. So going to shoot up someplace is not managing a trigger. So yes, sex addiction is real, and yes, sex addiction can make you do things. Do I think that in any way, shape, or form justifies his actions? No, not at all. But when I see people blaming sex addiction for such egregious activities or actions, I know this sounds kind of weird, but it kind of gives sex addicts a bad name. Sex addicts are not always pedophiles. Sex addicts are not people who do things illegally, or anybody can suffer from sex addiction. In my group, there are people from all walks of life, all fighting different forms of sex addiction and dealing with different struggles. But the point is, they're dealing with them and they're working through them. And you're supporting each other and you're listening to each other and you're sharing with each other and you're growing together and you're learning together. It really is a brotherhood. And I'm so grateful that I identified and tried to get my sex addiction under control and have been very successful with getting my sex addiction under control. And that I have the fellowship and the brotherhood that I have through the other members of SAA, who I have made some amazing friends who have given me amazing strength. So, summarizing, sex addiction is real. Sex addiction can cause you to do things you would not normally do. Sex addiction should not be blamed for shooting up spas in Georgia. And if you feel you struggle with sex addiction, find a group, find a support group close to you, saa-recovery.org, and get the help you need. Start working the 12 steps of the program. Start building those bonds with the fellowship of the group. Start learning to lean on others and reaching out for help when you need it. Because that's how you manage your addiction. I mean, I will always be a sex addict. That's never going to go away. And I will be managing it for the rest of my life. But I'm not going to go shoot up a salon, and blame it on my sex addiction. I mean, I can't. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're a bad person. You shot up a salon. Don't blame your sex addiction. Get your sex addiction in check. That's my rant for that. I don't know. It's just been bugging me all week. And we talked about it in my meeting this week. And it's just like, I know so many good people who struggle with sex addiction and who are actually taking the time and making the effort to manage it. And to see someone blame it for such egregious activities just pisses me off. It's like that coach that said he made racist comments because he was diabetic and his blood sugar was low. That's bullshit. Take ownership for your own actions. You're a racist. Your diabetes didn't bring it on. It just let it come out. Whatever. I think my testosterone is low. And I'm wondering if that hasn't been attributing to my sexual anorexia that's developed. But I've also noticed I've been tired a lot. Like a lot. Like if I sit still for 10 minutes, I'm going to fall asleep. And I've got a CPAP machine. And I'm getting, the quality night sleep I'm supposed to get. But I'm just always tired. So I think that's one of the signs of a low testosterone. So I'm going to go get that checked out when I go to see the doctor next, which is in July. However, next week I'm going to go see an orthopedic surgeon, which I'm super excited about because I've had a pain in my right arm and between the elbow and the shoulder that's been getting worse and worse and worse. I've had it for months now, and I kept waiting for it to go away. Like it kind of feels like I pulled something, but I've been waiting for it to go away. And it's only been getting worse, and it's starting to affect my ability to pick things up, to raise my arm over my head, to turn the steering wheel, things like that. So I got to get that checked out this week, which I'm not excited about. Because, me, I'm always worst case scenario in my head sometimes. But as I always tell other people, don't get upset until you have more of the facts. Giving advice is so much easier than following it sometimes, especially when it's your own. Yeah. All right, guys, that's my time for this week. I missed saying this last week, so I'll say it this week with double impact. Check on your friends. Make sure they're doing okay. Remind them that you love them. Check on your family. Make sure they're doing okay. Remind them that you love them. Check on yourself. Make sure you're doing okay. Make sure you're doing your self-care. Remind yourself that you love yourself. All right, guys. That's it. I will talk with you guys next week. Oh, okay. So there's this project I've been working on with a really good friend of mine who I've been friends with since I was 14 years old. Actually, she and I used to date. I loved her then. I still love her now. And it is a children's book. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details, but we are getting to the point where we're almost done with the illustration and the text, and it's coming to a very, very good spot where I'm going to be able to start marketing this out for children's book publishers, and I am super excited. And we did a FaceTime this week and talked for the first time in face to face in a really long time, which was way overdue. And so that was really awesome. So I should check on my friends a little bit more than I do. Again, easier to give advice than to take it. But I'm very excited about this project. Okay, that is it. I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.